expectations are what makes someone want to learn guitar, thinking we can do it fast and simple, which is just not true. And of these huge expectations, when they face a big reality, they can be crushing towards someone's sense of progress, even though they're on the right track. So in this video, I'm going to reveal some of the biggest expectations a lot of beginner players have had, just like myself, and then how they were crushed. On the first day I played guitar, I immediately thought I was going to be able to learn one of those one-hand riff songs, which was half true. I was able to do like two that were really easy, just... But anything slightly harder than that, even power chords, were still too hard and not being able to be understood. So on the first day, of course, I felt like it was impossible. But as we kind of snowballed forward into the first few months, I got what I would call a beginner's ear, where I was playing something and I thought it sounded completely right, even though it just sounded like a monkey was playing it. Because at that point, I thought I was on the right track, so of course I was going to be playing everything right, and my expectation was that I could find easy songs and learn them immediately and that they were perfect. And then when I'd hear them back on recording, I'd hear how sloppy they sounded, and then I got into the idea of maybe rhythm was important, which I've been preaching in every single video. What did I think around the 6-month mark? By 6 months, I expected to be able to play most songs with easy solos and not Hendrix hard level guitar riffs, just like that, pretty easily. And if you want to take a guess on how close to that expectation I was, you would be right if you said extremely far. I could maybe learn fucking Brain Stew like that. I could learn some Blink-182 songs like that. I could learn a couple Chili Pepper songs like that. But really, I could not learn a lot of songs, but I could learn them with a lot of time and a lot of practice to a click. So really, I was at the point where I knew enough to get the wheels rolling forward, but I didn't know enough to kind of create my own style and start learning how to improvise. So that's when I really, really locked in on learning scales, modes, and all of that, which faced me with my next huge reality check. After a month of that, I thought I was the smartest player on the planet for finding some secret pattern that literally every pro player would use. But at the time, I thought I was significant, so I expected that whenever I played, it would sound good, which 8 months in, take another guess of how accurate that was. Not very accurate at all. But as I approached the 1 year mark, the expectation I had of it at the beginning was I would be almost pro, being able to do some tapping kind of stuff, which was not true. But once I got to kind of month 8, month 9, my expectation of what would have happened at a year severely changed, which was something I was actually able to meet, of being able to learn 80% of the songs I like that are within a lot of reason. So maybe not Hendrix, maybe not Most Zeppelin stuff, but most of the songs I liked, I could learn with some good minutes put into it, with a clicker and real focus. So once I got into a year, I actually kind of had myself grounded and understood what I was going to be doing. So then the 6 months after that, I thought I would just be on the same trajectory. My expectation was I'll be able to play some solos. I'll be able to go off on my own on some solos. But once we get into weird tempos or maybe different things, I might struggle under different chord progressions. I thought this would totally be a thing. However, 18 months in is when I was actually able to kind of break a prior expectation. I was able to solo a lot more freely, and I was able to match the tonality of chords because now I actually understood that big pattern I was talking about earlier that I thought I was a genius for 10 months prior. And of course, this just set the tone for the rest of my expectation in goal setting, made it super easy to think, hey, realistic for me to be able to play this probably in 3 months when I actually start practicing that now. And so once I got to 2 years, I was able to play a lot of the things I wanted. And then the biggest thing was at 2.5 years, I expected if I look at anything and just put a little bit of time into it, I could learn it. Some things could be instant. 2.5 months, that reigned 90% true. Of course, some things were still too difficult for me to play, which is fine. You just slow them down and slowly speed them up, which is an active process that I still do to this day, because guess what? Even when you've learned the instrument pretty well, learning stuff still takes time. You can't just see everything by sight unless you're fucking mega years into it, which I'm 17, so obviously I do not have that crazy ear, look at it, sight read immediately experience, but I am getting closer and closer. So in conclusion, the expectations you have when you first start playing are wildly unrealistic in my experience, and I'm sure you would think the same thing as well. And they often lead you down paths where you ignore super basic things like rhythm, the actual scale you need to build your solo on, not just thinking you're fucking some magician that can just play and it sounds great. And then once you figure these things out, you start to build these expectations that might slow you down, like I did. If I thought I could have been further at a year when I hit that 9-month mark, probably could have progressed a little bit faster. So make sure your expectations are just set right at or right above what would actually be possible in the next 3, 6 months to a year. After a year or two of experience, that is extremely easy to do. And meeting all these expectations is what gives you confidence as a player to maybe start creating your own things and just start learning more and more, just rolling the snowball forward, making that avalanche bigger. And if you want to write your own stuff and start learning better solos, look at this video I have about functional harmony to learn the emotion of harmony a lot better. And subscribe for more great content.